Mark Robinson, he's out there, he's fighting.
A very good man.
This is Martin Luther King on steroids. I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King ×2. I think he's going to go down as one of the great leaders in our country. I've been with him a lot. I've gotten to know him, and he's outstanding. He's outstanding in presentation, but he's probably even more outstanding in heart. Somebody that we have to be very, very careful. We have to cherish. We have to cherish Mark. He's a star. You have to cherish him. Amen. It's like a fine wine, because that's what you have. You have a fine wine. He's an outstanding person. I've gotten to know him so well and fairly quickly.
Fine wine is definitely a terrible way of describing the gubernatorial candidate, the Republican gubernatorial candidate for North Carolina, Mark Robinson. Because CNN just published a pretty explosive report that uncovers several disgusting, vile comments that this Republican candidate made on a porn site called Nude Africa. Now, we'll get to the content warning right now, because as we give you the details, you're gonna learn about the vile things he had to say. And they're very explicit, but according to CNN, Robinson wrote the comments under the username Mini Soldier. The reason why they were able to connect that username to Robinson is because he used this moniker on other sites as well, including Ashley Madison. They also connected that moniker to his email address. He also stupidly used his full name for this porn site. His full name. And the comments were from years ago, 2008 to 2012.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
Now, I'm gonna get into the details, starting with what he had to say about transgender people or transgender adults. Stars on this forum. So despite his publicly stated anti-transgender views, Robinson wrote the following on the site. Bear with me here. I like watching, he didn't use the word transgender, he used a different word, but you guys can figure out what it is, on girl porn. So I like watching transgender on girl porn. That's effing hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in, and yeah, I'm a perv too. But publicly, he says that transgender women who use the bathroom that they identify with should be arrested. And he's used incredibly harsh language toward the transgender community. But obviously behind closed doors, that's the kind of porn he likes to consume. To be fair, he's not the only Republican.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Alex shows, you want to show us your phone again? Okay, so to be fair, he might watch the kind of porn where they get arrested. But guys, look. You know how Republicans are. If you don't know by now, the Republican politicians, they're all liars, and they're doing the exact thing that they're warning you about almost every time. So the minute this guy starts to, oh my God, I'm worried about these LGBTQ and the transgenders. Yeah, you're worried that you're not gonna have enough porn about them to watch later tonight. So they hate themselves, so they throw it off to people. Now we got a lot more for you guys, including the Nazi stuff in a second. But I don't want you to think, oh, poor Trump, how could he have known when he thought he was better than Martin Luther King, right? He was already on the record as denying the Holocaust, saying that Michelle Obama is a man. Maybe he wanted her to be, I don't know, right? Like that, maybe he fantasized about that. Now, literally, right? Maybe that was one of the things that got him off. And then and of course, Barack Obama was one of the top ranking demons. He had theories about how the Rothschild family was running the world. So like an obvious glaring anti-Semite well before any of this came out. And Trump endorsed him anyway and said he was better than Martin Luther King.
So let's get to the topic of abortion. Now, of course, as a Republican politician, he claims to be in favor of restricting or just full out banning abortion. He says he's in favor of a 6-week abortion ban. But according to what he wrote on this porn sites forum, all right, let me just give you what CNN wrote verbatim. So, but writing as Mini Soldier on Nude Africa in December of 2010, Robinson said he did not care about a celebrity having an abortion. Quote, I don't care, I just want to see the sex tape, Robinson wrote.
Of course, publicly he says he cares so much. oh, those poor little kids that are zygotes that he has to save. In reality, he's like, I don't care at all, man, show me the search tape. That is classic Republican politician.
Well, I mean, yes, I think you're right about that, but it's also just classic politician. Look, this is vile, so I'm not gonna equate this with like stuff that we've seen on the left. However, generally speaking, we're talking about issues here that impact people's lives deeply, right? The topic of reproductive freedom, the topic about having, healthcare available to people, because this is a healthcare issue. It's not simply about terminating a pregnancy. For some women, it's literally a life or death situation, and having these restrictions can put their lives in danger. And so what disgusts me is to see politicians take these serious issues, not really care about those issues one way or another, but exploit them and use these issues as a tool for their own political power. And that's what disgusts me about it.
And he just happened to do it in a way that is enormously brazen, where, it doesn't get any more brazen than, I don't care about abortion, I just want to see the sex tape. But that could go as like a historical note on Republican politicians of my lifetime. I think that's way more the norm than it is the exception.
He had some comments making light of a woman being raped. It had to do with a taxi driver who had allegedly raped a woman who was under the influence. And in response to that, he wrote, and the moral of this story, don't F a white bitch. All right, so let's get to the racism. Robinson also wrote a number of extremely racist comments, writing in a forum discussing Black Republicans in October of 2010. He stated, unprovoked, I'm a black Nazi.
Better than Martin Luther King, Donald Trump says.
That same month, he wrote that he advocates for the return of slavery, saying, quote, slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring slavery, back. I would certainly buy a few.
See, that's the funny thing about Mark Robinson. He's so dumb that he doesn't realize he's black. Like, if they brought slavery back, you're not gonna get to own any slaves, you dumbass. And the minute that they took him, he would be the most shocked guy in America. He'd be like, no, I'm with you guys. I've been kissing your ass the whole time. I wanna be a Nazi too, please. I thought I was with you. And then when he's in chains, he's totally flabbergasted. But I was helping you hate black people.
Can we just, look, this is really dark, disgusting stuff. I just wanna take a little bit of a break from it to acknowledge the fact that he really is dumb. He really is. First of all, what are you doing participating in a forum on a porn site? Like, I get that people do that, but maybe don't do that. And if you're gonna do that, maybe don't use your first and last name.
And maybe don't run for lieutenant governor and then governor after you've done that.
Now, by the way, I should note, CNN reached out to him for comment. His campaign didn't reach back out to them until like 2 days later, and he vehemently denies this. He denies that it's him, this is all made up, it's tabloid trash. But it seems like CNN did their due diligence here. Because
not only do they have the receipts, guys, the same guy who denied the Holocaust and say the Rothschilds run the world, you're surprised that he calls himself a black Nazi behind the scenes? Pretty much admits it in front of the scenes.
Unfortunately, there's more. So in a series of 7 posts in October of 2011, Robinson disparaged Martin Luther King in such intense terms, calling him a commie bastard, worse than a maggot, a ho effing phony, and a huckster, that a user in the thread accused him of being in the KKK. Robinson responded by directing a slur at King.
Martin Luther King 2.0. Martin Luther King on steroids. I've only known one person that I would say maybe they're better than Martin Luther King, probably Nelson Mandela, right? To take this guy, a rabid anti-Semite who's already said disgusting things about LGBT community and about everyone, and to say that he's better than Martin Luther King, you have to you understand how mentally deranged a human being has to be to call this guy better than Martin Luther King? Donald Trump doesn't care. He's like, hey, there's a black guy who likes me. I bet he's better than Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wouldn't have liked me as much just because I'm racist. Just because I did racial housing discrimination for a living when I was, coming up in the Queens in New York. And so he doesn't like anyone who is not nice to him, but if you're nice to him, it doesn't matter if you're a Nazi. He'll say you're better than Martin Luther King.
This guy has issues, man. This guy has a lot of self-hatred and a lot of problems. Now, CNN notes—
him or Trump or both?
I would say both, but I mean Robinson to an even higher degree. Come on. Who says stuff like this? Who salivates at the notion of slavery coming back, especially as a black man?
I hear you. Even Trump might not be that dumb.
Or that full of hate. Anyway, all right. So CNN claims that there are even more vile comments that they did not want to publish because of how extreme they are. But they claim that there's a lot of anti-Semitism, a lot of anti-Muslim rhetoric, and also homophobia. None of that is surprising considering the appetizer we got here with the disgusting comments that we've read. Now, he denies it, as I mentioned, and he even preempted the report by publishing a video in which he called CNN's journalism a high-tech lynching.
After denying racism all this time, now the minute they catch him doing what they're doing, all of a sudden it's a high-tech lynching. Just like Clarence Thomas. There's no racism. White supremacy is awesome. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You're criticizing me? I'm being lynched. I'm being lynched.
Yeah, it was a reference to Clarence Thomas, actually. So let's watch that video that he put out prior to CNN's report coming out.
Hey guys, Lieutenant Governor Robinson and your Republican nominee for governor as well, of course. Well guys, the news media is at it again. My opponent is at it again. You all have seen the half-truths and outright lies of Josh Stein on these ads over and over again. And now a story leaked by him to CNN is appearing now. Let me reassure you, the things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson. You know my words, you know my character, and you know that I have been completely transparent in this race and before. Folks, we've seen this type of stuff in the past as well. Clarence Thomas famously once said he was the victim of a high-tech lynching. Well, it looks like Mark Robinson is too, by a man who refuses to stand on stage and debate me about the real issues that face you. Instead, they want to focus on salacious tabloid lies. We're not going to let them do that. We are staying in this race. We are in it to win it. And we know that with your help, we will. God bless you. And we will see you where? On the campaign trail.
I really hope that the people of North Carolina do not let the country down by electing this guy.
Well, the Republicans already selected him as their nominee. He won the primary. But it's because the almighty Donald Trump said, this is my guy. I command all of you Republicans to vote for him, when he was already saying all the vile, disgusting, anti-Semitic, horrible, anti-LGBTQ, everything in the world. He was already saying all that publicly, and Trump's like, that's why I like him. And so
it was
you
a
Republicans,
problem.
you picked this guy.
It was a problem for the Republican Party in the 2022 midterms. Remember, a lot of the candidates that Donald Trump had endorsed ended up losing. The red wave that never happened. We're talking about Herschel Walker, Dr. Oz, there were others. And so Carrie Lake is another example. So we'll see how this plays out in North Carolina, but this report is damning. And I don't know if the denials are really gonna work in this case, we'll see.
I mean, like with Herschel Walker and Mark Robinson, Donald Trump likes picking mentally deranged guys. Why? Because peas in a pod. How could you call anyone better than Martin Luther King, let alone this clown of a man? That's because he doesn't know anything. He's a buffoon of the highest order. So, okay, North Carolina, you gotta make a decision to make. You're gonna pick Mark Robinson and the guy who thought he was awesome, even when he said so many disgusting things publicly already? Or are you gonna just be sane for a second? I don't know. And the funny thing is, guys, we don't know. He might win that election in North Carolina. That's the sorry state of politics in America. If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.